All right, Ms. Carroll, we always tell folks that they can go to the internet and find some of those answers to their gardening questions, but how do we know if those sites actually have good advice?
Well, and I'd say maybe even the majority of them don't.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
a lot of times you just go to Google and type something in, and I'm not sure how that logarithm works, but things pop up that aren't necessarily good sources. I have a few kind of general rules, and first and foremost, if they're trying to sell you something, they may not be telling you the truth, they may not be telling you the whole truth, and even just omission a lot of times is the big crime. I'm particularly suspicious of big box store sites because they won't give you regional information about plants. They're going to make them all sound like they're going to do well. As soon as the information is inaccurate, especially about size of plants, a lot of times. Plants are going to get bigger. I always tell people plant tags lie.
Yeah.
Don't believe the plant tags. So when there are a few nurseries that I do trust, and I don't know if that would be a good idea to mention those as far as specifics. But one thing I've noticed is online sources, sometimes when you even order the plants, they're not accurate. So one thing I also look for, if it's an online nursery, not only does it get good information, but do I actually get the plant I ordered?
Okay.
So, but as far as good information, yes, we do like for people to go to the university sites. Sure. I mean, we try to research all our information, and so if it's a .edu site, but stuff doesn't disappear off the internet often when it should, and things change, as you and I know. New diseases come down the pipe, new pests, so a plant that we once considered very durable is no longer. So we have to be sure we stay current, and sometimes, I always tell people this, I'm going to mention several good sites, but I like to go to several sites to make sure I have a consensus, because any one site could be wrong. So I check with EDU sites, I'll check with, there's a good botanical garden site, the Missouri Botanical Garden site is a very good site.
Which is one that I go to.
And it pops up pretty quick, and that's another thing I like, an easy, some of the websites are poorly designed, and hard to find the information. So that's one thing that I like to look for. The other thing that I like to look for are professional organizations, for example, information about tree pruning or roots. A lot of times, like if you type in tree roots and foundations, you're going to find a whole bunch of garden bloggers that are going to tell you, oh, those roots are going to bust your foundations. But we want to go to those sites that have really studied tree roots. And so the Urban Forestry Association, the Horticultural associations, any kind of professional association is really trying to get good information out there to make sure that their information is reliable and trustworthy, so that you hire their members. So I look for those. Also, if it's not about a particular group of plants, these large, well-founded plant societies. The Magnolia Society, the American Conifer Society, there's a Fern Society right here in Memphis, the Hydrangea, Mid-South Hydrangea Society.
It's big.
400, 500 members.
It's big.
So, you and I like to talk about replicated studies. We're supposed to repeat studies several times to make sure that this plant does behave well in all these different settings and over a series of different years. Well, imagine if you got 400 or 500 members reporting in on this particular hydrangea or conifer or magnolia. It's as good as a replicated study.
Yes, it is.
And they're not trying to sell you anything. They want you to succeed with that magnolia. They want you to enjoy the plants that they enjoy. So I certainly do trust that information.
Okay. Yeah, the .edus, is pretty much what I go by, and I look several states, all the land grant institutions. I'm looking at all of their information.
Very much so, and especially if we're talking about plant trials and evaluations, I look for those states that have similar climate. Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Virginia. I look at all those and see, hey, this plant's done well for everybody over a wide range of sites.
Okay. Now let's talk about this. What about Facebook? Because everybody's on Facebook now, and they're putting garden information on Facebook. So.
Well, I'm not a fan of just anybody's information. Somebody can put, even just identify a plant. They know what it is. They act like they're an expert, and a lot of times they're wrong. But then a lot of these sites have a lot of very informed members and a few specifics. One that I really love and use a lot is the Tennessee Naturalist Facebook page. And they'll know plants in the wild and insects and moths, frogs, mushrooms, you name it. So I love that site because usually I'll have like park rangers or different informed biologists who will come on and tell me. Also, the Soil Plant Pest Facebook page is awesome.
Doubt is good.
Absolutely awesome. And of course, they're posting pictures of current diseases and insect issues. So a lot of times I'll look at that and go, hey, that's what somebody just brought in today. So it keeps me very up to date. Not to mention that also is going to give me recommendations.
You're exactly right. That's one Facebook page I go to every day.
Yes, it is fantastic.
Every day.
It is a really fantastic. People who despise Facebook and think it's all about, you know, videos of cats or what you had for breakfast that morning. I don't use it for that, and I use it for things that I'm interested in, plants, insects, even dog rescue groups. So a lot of times we'll network on the Facebook pages. If you're doing a plant identification, say in Tennessee, then the Tennessee Naturalist Facebook page or Plant Idents, maybe a local Facebook page. There's Tennessee Birds, all kinds of things like that. But you can be in Hawaii and take a picture of a plant and probably post it to one of the more international plant identification pages and get somebody that knows that plant. It's just amazing. You could be somebody, an expert from India or China. It's just awesome how all these people can network, and just a little snapshot of a plant, within a minute you're told all about it.
So that's good.
People who decide they don't like Facebook, they're just not using it right.
Right. I mean, it has a good purpose.
Absolutely.
If you can do things like that, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because, of course, we do that a lot. Just put pictures on there just to see if somebody can identify them. I know I do it, quite often. So.
Yes. And not only that.
It's useful.
For example, in our plant sales, we will post pictures of the plants that are going to be in the sale and their cultural conditions. So by the time they come into our plant sale, they know what to work in their yard and already have their list made out. So yeah, lots of good ways that you can use it. Also, a few good industry magazines. I like American Nurseryman because people like Mike Durr will often write for that. But some of the little garden magazines that are written often by people, and I'm not saying amateur in a derogatory way, I'm just saying that often they have not necessarily done the scientific research behind the article. So look at those with a little bit of caution.
Okay. All right, appreciate that good information. That works.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.